Hey everybody, welcome back to the Passive Buddies podcast. And today we're going into Sherlock Holmes mode. We're going to go into the FBI style and we're going to teach you guys how to spot an MLM scam. As usual, I've got Brandon Duff, my co-host for the podcast, and Brandon is very great at it. He's probably got a few haters because he keeps on calling people out. But it's so good to watch, and it really does help you guys in what is a crazy online world and some great stuff, and there's a lot of bad stuff. So we're going to teach you guys how to sort of stay away from those bad things. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Got your magnifying glass?
Yeah, I wish I had my monocle. I mean, if you guys don't know, on my Facebook and some of my social media, I look like Mr. Monopoly as my alter ego. So I'm really excited about this episode because now I get my detective glasses on instead of my monocle.
So it was literally only yesterday that you were exposing a scam. Now this was crypto, or that was a crypto scam. So obviously going back a little bit when you were in more affiliate marketing space, and obviously you get pitched MLMs all the time. Like, what were you noticing on what to sort of stay away from and how to identify that?
Yeah, so I typically I've been in multiple MLMs. I mean, in the fitness world, we had like Beachbody, we had Shakeology, and when you notice that people are doing more recruiting than selling of the product, then you know you're kind of getting into an MLM scam, because when people are saying that they're making more money from actually getting people under them than actually like selling the product, which is kind of the thing that's supposed to help people, which is like why you're getting into the business is by helping people, then I think that you're getting into more of an MLM scam. I mean, I noticed that when I got into, say, Shakeology, not that it's, I mean, people are making great money in Shakeology and some of these other businesses, and you can make great money in an MLM, in any MLM or any business, but it really just comes down to how long will that business be around. And like, if the products are not great, no one's going to buy, like the end user is never going to buy it. So, and if you're constantly recruiting people, it's going to have to end at some point. And so when that was, I guess, one of my first things is more people trying to recruit, or are they actually using and selling the product? Like, what is more profitable for them? And if it's recruiting, then it's probably going to be more of an MLM. And not all MLMs are scams, but I would say if a business, if 90, I think, I don't remember the latest statistics, but I think it's like 98% of MLM people lose money in the space. It's because they are able to, the reason why they're losing money is because they have all the fees that are associated with it. They have to have like so many personal volumes, so they have to buy the product to have a minimum, like they have to have one order or one protein powder every month. So, and then if they're not making, I think it was like $60, and if they're not making $60 at all of that month, and they're only making maybe 30, they're in the hole $30 if they weren't actually in that program. So you have to think that most of these people are not making money. I don't remember the statistics, but it's like in the 90s where most people are actually losing money, and the top like 2% make the most money. And so I see this with affiliate marketing. I see this with, I think it was called the MLM like agency, where it was just people that were teaching people how to make, I think it was like $10,000 a month, the gold standard of, $120,000 a year. And they were teaching people how to create an organic digital agency, which was just having people join under them. And then they would have other people join under them. And then they would boost their post by saying, like, everyone would comment on this one person's post, which would then boost that post through the algorithm and get people to FOMO in. And I see this all the time still, but they have these boosting groups, or pods, they call them, and they don't really have a product. All it is just a group of people that are paying like $1,000 a month to be a part of this, but they're not. And then they try and get the next sucker to pay them the $1,000, and then that person tries to get the next sucker to pay them $1,000. But in reality, it's really only going to the guy at the top who created the program. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want a copyright strike or anything. He already actually took down one of my posts for. He reported it to YouTube because I showed that, like, the whole how it worked and how they're scamming people. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But what have you seen in the space that is kind of slimy?
So, like, obviously, and don't get me wrong, like, obviously in the past, like, I have been part of those engagement pods who gets my post up and and you know what, like, obviously once, and it looks really good on your feed, where like you've got like some likes and some comments and it looks really good, and then when you decide, right, okay, do you know what, I'm not going to share this one into the pod and just see what the rest of the community thinks, and it fucking flatlines, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to make any money. Like, and that wasn't to promote a product, it was obviously just to help my like engagement, obviously to help with my stuff. So I have been part of that, and you know what, like, they work for the wrong reasons, and that's not how you're going to survive in business. There's a couple of things when you look at an MLM, like, and don't get me wrong, like, some people make really good money, some people are financially free through MLMs, but there's different things about them. And Brandon's obviously spoke about, like, if it's more focused on recruiting, like, the first thing you need to look at in any business is what you're selling solving a problem, like actually solving a problem, and like, and at what level. Like, I always go back to the one that I got pitched fucking ages ago, a few years back, and it was selling a water filter for like $4,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I always remember, like, because I've been in businesses before, but I was trying to break the online game, and I've created offline businesses, etc. And it was like, right, okay, yes, and so it's really, really good for you. I was like, yeah, it probably is. I was like, but $4,000. I was like, oh yeah, you can pay like $8,000 as well, and you can have one of these really ugly things sat on your kitchen. I was like, no. I was like, I could just get like one of those little filters, or buy a filter tap. And yeah, but it's not the same. I was like, yeah, it might not be. Yeah, but it's like, but $4,000. I was like, are you solving a problem? Yeah, but it's a business opportunity. I was like, by what? And it was literally by, as you say, recruiting people, get people under you, and obviously like be this business opportunity. And I still talk to a couple of the guys now. Every now and again, I'll just drop in, see how they are, and see what's going on. And their progress has been so slow. Some people have given up, etc. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, to get into this business opportunity, you need to buy this water filter. Yeah, but I don't want a water filter. And it's like, well, you're not actually really solving a problem. To some people who are like super game, like really like into this alkaline water and whatever, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. I was like, but to position it as a business opportunity to sell water filters, when actually you're just trying to get someone to buy a water filter to come under you, and then they, again, like that sort of thing, it's like, you've got to look at the actual asset that you're giving people when you're like solving that problem. And there's loads that you can come across. I've seen like forex trading MLMs, and I'm sure there's probably crypto MLMs that I've just not come across. And it's all about the exact same thing. It's like, are you solving a problem? Because if you're not, you're never going to survive. Like, if you're not solving a genuine problem that, one, you're passionate about, two, there's a big need for it, so you've got a good target audience to attack, then you're really going to struggle. Like, I always like say in my YouTube, some of my YouTube videos, it's like, when you're looking at things to sell or things to promote, if you're really passionate about rocks, I was like, that's not generally solving a problem, is it? Like, you might find one really targeted niche, you'll buy a rock. I was like, but when you want to go on like mass scale and start selling, like, you need to look at passion versus demand, and make sure you slot in the middle. Don't just go through like your.
I have to interrupt because there was a product called the Pet Rock many moons ago, and it did really, really well.
Is it around still?
You know what? We can Google it. I'll Google it while you talk. But that was a
You've literally
real
just
thing.
ruined my whole YouTube videos. But like, to a point, like you have to like look at that passion versus demand, and you have to be able to go, are you actually solving a real problem? Like my missus got into one years ago. I think it's called Forever Living, selling aloe vera stuff. And it was a case of, yeah, okay, aloe vera is supposed to have really all these health benefits, but like finding that target market was like, it just became about, yeah, but if you got any of your friends to sign up, I was like, well, shouldn't you be selling the product as well? Yeah, but you make more money on the recruitment, and yeah, you do. And having people underneath you does help because it helps with your lead gen, it helps with the whole sort of business side. So that bit isn't supposed to be sort of looked at like a true negative, but there's got to be a balance. Like if you can't sell that product because the product's crap, how are you expecting anyone else underneath you to sell that product because it's a crap product? And that's where you make that money, isn't it? It's like when people underneath you recruit and sell, like because there's always like you've got to sell a certain amount, obviously, to push that product out. But if that product is a $4,000, $8,000 water filter, you're probably not going to hit those numbers. And it's looking at those little things like the problems, the assets, and the rest of it.
So to go back to the Pet Rock, you can buy one on Amazon for $30. It says you will never need to feed, walk, bathe, or groom or neuter your pre-trained to sit pet. So your rock is able to pre-sit. I mean, you can sell anything, but just to go back to the water thing, if you are really trying to help people, then you can just direct them to, I mean, there's stores that sell alkaline water. If you really think the product is so amazing, that's what you're trying to push, you sell it to someone else. I mean, really, MLMs kind of, I guess, teach you how to train a sales team. And if you're able to learn how that business works, on how to set up a sales team, how to train them to be good salespeople, then you can start any business. And if you do that, you should start your own business, because if it's so successful, then you already have the workings of a good business owner. And it doesn't matter where you pivot from. And I think that's what a lot of people, to go back to the engagement groups, is what a lot of people fail at, is because they get all this, they get these vanity metrics, which are the likes, the comments, and all that. And say, for instance, that MLM decides to be done, or the MLM agency decides to be done, and they're going to go retire in the Bahamas, and you no longer have a business. That business is gone, and that engagement is gone, and you really didn't learn anything. All you got was hyped up posts and now a debt, or if you didn't make your money back, a debt. You didn't learn any new skills. You didn't really learn anything. And now you have this kind of, when those engagement groups gone, that person's gone, you can't make another business, and you're not going to get the same engagement. So then it makes you feel less of a person, because you're like, oh, well, it was all them, and I didn't really get anything out of this. So I think that's one of the things that you should definitely look for. I mean, I see people that have 200 comments and a bunch of likes, and then I ask them, like, hey, like, how's your business doing, or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm still trying to make that $100,000 a year, and like, I make more money from 3 posts or 3 comments and a few likes than they're making with hundreds of likes and hundreds of comments. So I just don't really, it comes down to, can you sell, and are you helping someone? And if you can't get them, if they can afford your product, can you help them overcome something else, or direct them somewhere where they can get the help that they need? And in doing so, that's providing more value to them too, which is ultimately what we're trying to do in the online space, is provide as much value as possible. And in doing so, that builds trust, it builds relationships, and then it gets them to when they can afford our product, then they can come back. And, we talked about this, I think, in the last episode is, would you rather have 100 clients, or would you rather have 10 clients, or would you rather have one client? Obviously, there's all sorts of risks between each of those, but you don't want to overload your schedule. You don't want to, you want to help as many people as possible, but you also don't want it to take up all your time. So that's why I think that it's important is get into some of these MLMs and learn how to sell and learn, because that's what they teach is, I think the biggest thing is how to sell. And some of them have amazing sales tactics. But if you learn how to sell correctly, you can take that into any business and do really, really well. Because if you can build a team, you can build people, a strong team under you that is learning how to sell for you, then it's taking away your time. It's giving back your time. And it's funny because I talk to these, like when I've gotten into the personal training thing, a lot of these, and I got out of it, and I still have like people contacting me about, because they said thought I was still a personal trainer, and they were like, "Hey, have you seen this product?" I was like, you can just white label a protein powder, like your own protein powder or your own software, and then build a team, and then collect 100% of the profits, and only pay your sales team, versus actually doing, say, having to use someone else's product. If you already have the skills, then you don't need to join an MLM program. You're actually limiting yourself into being able to grow, because now you have only a small percentage of the profits that you're making, versus the other, where instead you're getting 70% of the profits and paying 30% to your sales team, versus you only making 30%, and then you get like 5 or 1% of your upsells. So it's you definitely want to do your own research. So to break it down, some things I look for in multi-level marketing scams is, are they pushing recruiting more than the actual product? Because if they're trying to help people, then they're not really helping people by recruiting. Because if the product is so amazing, but recruiting is taking like the front end of it, then it's really not that great of a product. Because then if they're really like alkaline water, they would be directing you to go to your local, water store. And we have them. I remember in California, we had like an alkaline water store that specialized in alkaline water, where you can just buy it from them, versus a $4,000 or $8,000 machine. Are they actually teaching any tangible skills, or are they just having you in engagement groups to kind of boost each other's posts to get the next person to FOMO in? Are they actually going to be around for a while? Because, if they decide to get up and leave and shut down the business, then your business is essentially gone too. And all the people, we saw this probably a year ago. I think it was called, I can't remember the name, but it was just a multi-level marketing scam. And it was getting people to join, and they had to buy like traffic packages from the owner. God, I think it was called like Success Method something. And I was like, bro, that's a scam. Like, you're going to get scammed, because they were pushing this product, and they had the engagement groups, and then they were selling traffic, their own traffic packages to join this like group. And I was like, if they have this amazing traffic source, why are they selling it to you? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't they just keep it for themselves and collect 100% of it, versus if they were selling it to you for clicks? I think it was like solo ads in a sense. And if they were just selling for clicks, then they're taking all your money, and they might not be great actual traffic sources. They might be just shit sources or bots or anything like that. So just, ask questions. I think is probably the easiest way. If there started to be red flags where a lot of people are just considering a business opportunity versus like pushing a product or pushing something that's going to solve an issue, like you said, then it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, I think you're right there, obviously. And you've got to, as you say, like, obviously, to circle back to, you've got to look at what problem you're solving, because at the end of the day, and this is where a lot of people who aren't business minded, like, they get caught out, don't they? And it's like, if this is your first introduction into business, obviously you've, like, your whole family's always been employees, like 9-to-5ers, and you're trying to break the chain. You've got to be so careful, haven't you? Because it may look like a business opportunity, it may look like you're solving a problem, but you really have to put that head on, like, take a step back. Don't get the shiny object. Don't get like the fear of missing out. You have to really step back and go, right, okay, well, what problem am I solving? Who's my target audience? Why this product? And yeah, okay, if you can get some people underneath you, perfect. And it's getting that fine mixture of both, isn't it? But at the end of the day, if that product isn't a product that you believe in, isn't worth it, like, you're gonna struggle. It's not just about getting people underneath you, because, to be fair, without sounding horrible, you can set up your own business, or you can set up your own, like, you can go into affiliate marketing and you can go and get commission only closers. You can go and get commission only appointment setters. Like, you can get those people without having to join a $4,000 water filter.
No, and just like you said, like, you can create that's what you're doing, is you're creating a business without, like you said, you can hire the closers, you can hire the appointment setters, you can hire all the your downline, but that's really just a business, versus calling it a downline with a multi-level marketing quote unquote opportunity. Because if you can do those things, then you can create a real business and solve a real issue, versus consistently recruiting and chasing people. And then obviously from there you can scale. And not only that, like, but you end up, they limit you, because if you can do all those things on your own, then you can start running ads. You can do all these other things that allow you to grow the business exponentially, versus a lot of these multi-level marketing, say you do grow that to a good team, but there's no way you can really scale, because you're not able to run ads to the product, because a lot of them in their terms of service says you can't, use these keywords in SEO. You can't use these keywords in traffic. You can't search for this demographic or these interest targets. And they are then limiting your growth. I know a lot of people get around this by combining MLM, like the product, with coaching, and then they're able to do it differently. But then you have your own business. So if you can grow a business, then you should never need to join an MLM.
That's where coaching programs come into more of a specific, don't they? Like, teaching people how to grow business, like teaching people, like, it's not about, like you say, it's not about the product. The product can be anything, like anything that you're passionate about. So yeah, pet rocks. I was just seeing that, like 877 reviews for the pet rock novelty pack for $4.99, which means at least 877 people have bought a pet rock. Like, fuming. But your business can literally be anything. So it's about the rest of the four corners of business, isn't it? It's like the marketing, sales, the operations, and the fulfillment. Like, yeah, it's and this is why I quite like part of affiliate marketing or white labeling. Like, the product's done, like, you've got that section bit, you've got fulfillment sorted, and depending on what you get into, you've got operations sorted. So you only have to learn two sides of the business, which is sales and marketing. And no matter what business you're in, whether you're a full-blown business owner or an affiliate marketer or whatever, you have to learn sales and marketing, because it's your lifeblood. So go and find something that's actually going to help people, go and actually going to make a difference in your life. And because at the end of the day, you're going to have to learn sales and marketing no matter what you do. So you may as well just go and learn those two skills.
Yeah, those are the best skills that can be transferred to any industry. You just need to obviously know how to research that industry, to know the marketing language that you're going to use. But yeah, I mean, having those two skills and learning them inside and out is going to make you a lot of money.
Final thoughts?
Oh man, I don't know. I always have the final thought. How about you have the final thought for this one?
Don't buy a pet rock.
I'm actually going to go buy one right now, just so I can despise you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.